The Galaxy Council Station, Ariel 9, floated silently in the dark stretch of space. Its long corridors shimmered with soft white lights, and the hum of engines echoed faintly. This station was neutral ground, a place where dozens of alien civilizations met to talk, negotiate, and sometimes argue. Today, it was crowded with ambassadors, delegates, and guards from every corner of the galaxy. Tensions were high. A border conflict between the Thalcor Empire and the Vesh Union had lasted for months, and the Council hoped that today's summit could prevent it from becoming a full war. Most species arrived with their full security. Armored guards clanked along the hallways, carrying strange weapons, energy shields, and scanning devices. Drones hovered near the ceilings, small but deadly. There was an air of unease, as if everyone expected trouble at any moment. The doors to the docking bay opened with a hiss, and the human delegation entered. They were led by Ambassador Helen Ward, a woman in her 40s, with calm eyes and a warm smile. Behind her, the security team moved quietly, almost like shadows. Captain Luke Carter, their leader, walked with measured steps. He was in his mid-30s, tall, with a scar along his jaw that hinted at old battles. His eyes were calm but alert. Alongside him were Olivia Price, Jason Hall, Megan Ross, and Daniel King. Each was trained for situations that would terrify most species. Yet, unlike the other delegations, they carried nothing. No weapons, no armor, no shields. Just plain dark uniforms, simple belts with communication devices, and small medical packs. As the humans passed through the hallways, alien delegates stared. Murmurs ran through the crowd like fire. "They have no weapons," whispered a young Arashi aide to Counselor Vrex. The Arashi were a species known for caution, with long limbs and golden eyes. "Is that safe? Are they hiding something?" Counselor Vrex's voice was low and clipped. "Humans are strange, dangerous in ways we do not understand. Do not underestimate them." Some delegates laughed nervously. Others shook their heads in disbelief. Many assumed the humans were arrogant or reckless. In some alien cultures, being unarmed meant weakness, and weakness invited attack. But the humans moved calmly, their expressions neutral, eyes scanning the corridors without tension. Helen Ward stepped forward and smiled at a group of delegates. "We follow all council regulations," she said softly. "Our security is trained, capable, and careful. You will see that during the meetings, nothing will threaten anyone here." Despite her words, the whispers continued. Alien guards looked at each other and shook their heads. The human security team followed orders quietly, scanning each corridor, noting exits, vents, and shield positions. They spoke little, using hand signals when needed. The aliens watching them only saw ordinary humans, and that worried them more. "I do not trust this," muttered a Thalcor colonel as he checked his energy rifle. "No weapons, and they are calm. Something is wrong." The council's inspection team arrived to examine the humans. It was composed of representatives from 3 different species. They scanned the humans thoroughly, checking for hidden blasters, knives, energy cells, or any forbidden devices. They found nothing. Only the human communication, packs, and medkits. The result left the aliens more confused. If humans were not carrying weapons, why were they considered security at all? The question spread through the station. Some feared it was arrogance. Others thought it might be a dangerous experiment. Later, the humans gathered in a quiet room near the council chamber. Luke Carter spoke softly to his team. "Remember, nothing we do today depends on weapons. We are trained for this. Stay calm, watch, and be ready. Our real work begins once the meeting starts." Olivia nodded. "They do not know what we are capable of, and they will not believe it until they see it." Luke said. His eyes swept the room, taking in every face, every movement, every nervous twitch. We do not need to prove ourselves, only to protect those we serve. The council chamber loomed ahead. It was massive, filled with high ceilings and polished floors. Alien banners hung along the walls, each representing a different species. A large table curved through the center, where ambassadors would sit. Seats for security were placed along the walls, usually filled with armored guards. The human team took their positions, still unarmed. As the humans entered the chamber, alien delegates stared openly. Some whispered to each other, pointing at the humans' plain uniforms. "They are a joke," muttered one Vesh delegate. "They will get us all killed if trouble comes." Helen Ward greeted the ambassadors politely. She introduced her team briefly, emphasizing their training and discipline. She smiled at the skepticism in the room, unfazed. The first part of the meeting began. Discussions were tense, the border dispute between the Thalcor and Vesh Union growing more heated by the minute. The humans stayed alert, observing body language, noting every exit, every shadow. Meanwhile, in hidden corners of the station, a small group of radicals called the Crimson Veil watched the council proceedings. They were a secretive faction who wanted war between the empires. Their eyes narrowed as they noticed the humans. "Unarmed," whispered their leader. "Easy targets. It will be perfect." Back in the chamber, alien guards continued to cast wary glances at the humans. Some made quiet bets that the humans would panic when trouble arose. Some feared that their own lives were in danger if they depended on unarmed humans for protection. Luke Carter and his team remained calm. Scanning, listening, ready. They had trained for this moment, in situations far worse than any council chamber. Every scenario had been drilled over and over. Hostages, weapons, sabotage, poison, gas. They were ready, even if no one else knew it. Outside the chamber, the docking bays were filled with ordinary supplies. No one suspected that danger could enter from there. The humans had studied every access point, mapped every ventilation duct, and planned their response in advance. Their calmness was a weapon in itself. As the first day of talks continued, the council noticed the humans' presence. Alien delegates whispered among themselves, their curiosity and anxiety growing. They did not know why humans would willingly come unarmed. They did not know what the humans could do. They only knew that the humans were calm, professional, and clearly confident. The humans stood at the walls, scanning the chamber, observing the delegates, noting every possible threat. They did not speak unless needed. Their silence made the aliens uneasy. It was a quiet reminder that humans might be underestimated at their peril. By the end of the day, the council had not seen any attack. No trouble had occurred. Yet the tension remained. Every alien delegate left the chamber wondering, why do these humans carry no weapons? Are they arrogant? Foolish? Or is there something about them we do not understand? Helen Ward returned to her quarters with her team. She smiled at them and said, "Tomorrow will be harder. To be ready. Remember, our strength is not in guns or armor. It is in our minds, our training, and our discipline." Luke Carter nodded. "We protect with what we have, and what we have is enough." Olivia, Jason, Megan, and Daniel exchanged quiet looks. Each knew the truth. The galaxy would soon see why human security carried no weapons to meetings. It was not foolishness. It was the result of decades of training, strategy, and the willingness to put themselves in danger so no one else had to. As Ariel 9 rotated in space, the stars outside the windows seemed calm and distant. But within the council station, tensions simmered, secrets lingered, and the unarmed humans waited quietly. No one knew what tomorrow would bring. But when trouble came, the galaxy would remember the humans on Ariel 9 forever. The next day, Ariel 9 was tense from the moment the human team arrived at the council chamber. Outside, the stars glimmered cold and distant. But inside, the air was heavy with anxiety. The first sessions of the summit were underway, and delegates from dozens of species argued in loud voices. Thalcor and Vesh Union representatives shouted over each other. Gesturing with multiple limbs, the humans moved calmly along the walls, their eyes alert. Luke Carter led his team with quiet authority. Olivia, Jason, Megan, and Daniel mirrored his movements, scanning every shadow, every doorway, every access panel. Ambassador Helen Ward spoke with measured calm, her voice soft but firm. She repeated Earth's stance as mediator, trying to calm tempers. Alien delegates noticed the humans' presence more than her words. The unarmed guards at the walls seemed almost invisible, yet there was something about their confidence that made everyone uneasy. While most of the council focused on negotiation, a small faction of radicals known as the Crimson Veil moved in the station's maintenance corridors. They had planned this moment for months. Their goal was to disrupt the summit, to kill key delegates, and to make war inevitable. The leader of the group, a wiry alien named Krell, watched the human guards with interest. "They carry no weapons," he hissed to his team. "Easy targets. They will not stop us." Meanwhile, in the chamber, the debate became louder. Thalcor representatives slammed their fists on the table, demanding that Vesh troops withdraw from disputed systems. The Vesh delegates responded with equal fury, accusing the Thalcor of lying and violating past agreements. The air was charged with anger. Alien security guards moved nervously, gripping weapons tightly. Some cast uneasy glances at the humans. "Do they really expect us to trust them?" whispered one Vesh officer to a colleague. Suddenly, the lights flickered and dimmed. The hum of the station grew louder, then uneven, like the heartbeat of something wrong. Airlocks clicked in rapid succession, sealing the entrances to the chamber. Alarm lights flashed red. Automated turrets descended from the ceiling, targeting points that once were safe. A faint hiss came from the ventilation ducts. Some delegates gasped as thin, colored gas began filling the room, designed to incapacitate anyone who inhaled too much. Panic spread instantly. "Everyone stay calm," Helen said, her voice cutting through the chaos. Her calmness made some delegates pause, but the fear in the room was strong. Alien guards pointed their weapons at the ceiling, unsure of what to do first. They had never seen a threat appear so suddenly, and they were trained to react with firepower. The humans, however, remained steady. Luke Carter motioned to his team with subtle hand signals. No words. No panic. Just orders and movement. The Crimson Veil raiders appeared through a side door. Stealth armor made them almost invisible until they moved. They carried shock rifles and bladed weapons. Several raiders rushed toward the council table, aiming at key diplomats. Screams erupted. Delegates dove under the table, knocking over chairs, trying to shield themselves. Luke Carter acted first. He moved in a blur of motion, his body precise and controlled. He reached Helen and pulled her behind the council table. "Stay down and follow my instructions," he said calmly. Olivia and Jason spread out toward the doors, scanning for attackers. Megan moved to a wall panel, examining the electrical and environmental systems. Daniel readied his medical pack in case anyone was injured. A raider fired his rifle. The shot ricocheted off a metal wall, missing a Thalcor delegate by inches. The sound echoed across the chamber. Luke did not hesitate. He grabbed a loose chair, swung it at the nearest raider's legs, and sent him stumbling. Another raider lunged with a blade at Helen, but Olivia intercepted. Twisting the attacker's arm, and forcing him off balance. Jason grabbed the falling rifle and used its momentum to knock another raider into the wall. Alien delegates watched in disbelief. Their guards hesitated. They could not understand how these humans, unarmed, were moving faster and more effectively than their heavily armed security. The human team worked as one, communicating silently with gestures and glances. Every movement had a purpose. Every action protected someone. Megan reached the control panel near the wall. Her fingers flew over the interface, bypassing the hack that had caused the turrets to target the chamber. Sparks flew as she rerouted power, and one by one, the turrets froze. Some fired wild shots into the ceiling, harmless but loud. Megan's calm precision saved lives. Daniel moved through the room like a shadow, shielding injured delegates while quickly applying basic medical treatment. He pulled a fainting Thalcor from under a table, held him upright, and checked his breathing. Then he sprinted to another delegate and covered them with his body as a raider passed by. Unaware of how close they came to disaster, the raiders panicked. Their carefully planned attack was collapsing. Luke saw one raider grab a Vesh council member and point a rifle to their head. Without hesitation, he calculated angles, distance, and timing. Using a reflective panel on the wall, he tracked the raider's movement. In one swift motion, he lunged, disarmed the attacker, and caught the council member before they fell. Olivia and Jason continued to engage raiders at the doors. They used grapples, throws, and body control techniques. One raider tried to fire at Helen, but Jason intercepted him mid-stride, twisting the attacker to the floor. Olivia kicked open a console, sending a cascade of loose cables to trip another. The humans turned ordinary objects into tools of defense, proving their training in real time. Helen guided delegates who were trapped, keeping them calm, whispering instructions, and helping them move to safer spots. Even in the chaos, her diplomacy prevented panic from spreading completely. As Megan finished rerouting the station systems, the turrets retracted, the gas vents shut down, and emergency lights returned to normal. The raiders realized they had lost control. One by one, they fled through maintenance corridors, terrified by the precision and speed of the human team. The chamber fell silent. Delegates emerged from under tables, looking around at the aftermath. Chairs were overturned, walls had small dents, and scorch marks were visible on the floor. Some were injured, but thanks to Daniel and the humans, no one had been killed. Alien security guards stood frozen, mouths open, realizing they had been outmatched without even firing a shot. Helen looked at her team, nodding once. "Good work. Stay alert. Check everyone." Luke responded with a calm nod, moving down the line, ensuring everyone was accounted for. Olivia, Jason, Megan, and Daniel began helping delegates, checking for minor injuries and calming their fears. Outside the chamber, other station personnel watched security cameras. They saw the humans move, the raiders stumble, and the turrets freeze. Whispers spread. "Did you see that? They are unarmed, and they handled it perfectly." Some alien guards refused to believe it at first, thinking it must be trickery or hidden weapons. But repeated footage proved otherwise. The Crimson Veil attack was neutralized. The Council had survived what could have been a disaster. The humans had faced armed attackers, automated turrets, and toxic gas, all without weapons, and had succeeded. Alien delegates looked at each other, stunned, realizing that human security training was unlike anything they had seen before. In a quiet corner, Luke Carter spoke to his team. "Everyone okay?" he asked. Olivia nodded, wiping sweat from her brow. Jason adjusted his uniform, Megan checked her comm device, and Daniel sighed, relief in his eyes. "We did what we trained to do," Luke said. "Remember this. This is why we are unarmed. Weapons are not always the answer. our non-teens. Helen came over to them, smiling gently. You saved everyone today, quietly, calmly, and without a single weapon. She looked around at the shaken delegates. They will never forget this. The galaxy has seen humans for what we really are. Outside, the station lights returned to normal. Alarms had stopped. The council would continue the summit, but everything had changed. Whispers ran through the corridors. Humans. Unarmed. Unstoppable. Some feared them. Some respected them. All were talking about them. As the day ended, the human team returned to their quarters. They cleaned up, patched small cuts and bruises, and sat quietly, letting the adrenaline fade. Luke looked at his team and said, "We only did our job. Tomorrow, we stay ready. The council will still be tense. There may be more attempts, and we will be here." Olivia smiled faintly. "They will talk about this for years, maybe centuries." Jason chuckled quietly. "I just hope they remember to breathe." Megan checked the station map, making mental notes of every access point they had covered, every corner they had secured. Daniel lay back, tired but satisfied. Helen sat beside them, thinking about the summit. This is why humans are trusted to carry no weapons. What we have is more than enough. Courage, skill, and calm. As Ariel 9 rotated in space, the stars were quiet witnesses to the events inside. The humans had shown the galaxy something important. Not weapons, not shields, not armor, but discipline, training, and courage could be the deadliest force in any room. The attack was over, but its effects were only beginning. Whispers would spread, doubts would vanish, respect would grow, and the humans would continue to stand unarmed, ready for anything, because that was how they protected life and peace without killing unnecessarily. The Council would never look at human security the same way again. The galaxy had learned a lesson, even if no one fully understood it yet. Humans could be unstoppable, even when they carried nothing but their own hands, minds, and hearts. After the attack, the Galaxy Council was in shock. Footage from the chamber had spread through the station. Delegates replayed the videos again and again, trying to understand what they had seen. Humans, unarmed, had faced armed raiders, turrets, and toxic gas, and had protected the entire council. The galaxy did not know what to make of it. Some whispered fearfully, others with deep respect, but no one truly knew how humans had done it. Meanwhile, on Ariel 9, the human team gathered in a quiet room. Luke Carter looked at his team and said, "You handled everything perfectly, but it is time they understand why we do this. The training. The reason we carry no weapons." Olivia, Jason, Megan, and Daniel exchanged glances. Each remembered the long years of preparation on Earth, the training that had shaped them into something more than ordinary humans. "They won't believe it," Olivia said. "Most of the galaxy thinks weapons are everything." Luke nodded. The story shifted in their minds. To Earth, to the United Diplomatic Guard Academy. The facility was hidden in the mountains, isolated and secure. Young recruits arrived from every corner of the planet. Among them were Luke, Olivia, Jason, Megan, and Daniel. They were nervous, unsure if they could endure the training ahead. The instructors were veterans, stern but fair. They explained the philosophy. A weapon can fail, be stolen, or escalate a situation. The body and mind are always with you. A human trained in skill, awareness, and control can face almost any threat without relying on tools. The first weeks were the hardest. Recruits woke before sunrise. They ran across rocky terrain, carrying only light packs. Their instructors made them crawl under obstacles, climb steep cliffs, and carry heavy loads. The exercises tested strength, endurance, and focus. Some recruits collapsed and were told to try again. No one was excused. Failure meant nothing except the need to try harder. After physical training came combat training. It was not about weapons. They learned hand-to-hand, fighting, grappling, and restraint techniques. Chairs, cables, pipes, or even a cup of water could become a tool for defense. Students practiced using their environment. They learned how to disarm attackers, how to restrain without killing, and how to protect civilians. Psychological training was next. Instructors exposed recruits to loud noises, flashing lights, and sudden attacks. They simulated hostage situations, toxic gas leaks, and malfunctioning machinery. Recruits had to stay calm and think clearly while protecting others. Olivia remembered one simulation, where she had to rescue a council-like figure from a mock gas chamber, while alarms screamed and lights blinded her. She had to rely on her senses, training, and courage to succeed. Instructors taught alien biology and culture. Recruits learned how to recognize weak points, how to move safely around different species, and how much force to apply in every situation. Megan recalled the lessons about alien muscles that could tear human bones, or species with fragile respiratory systems. Every detail mattered. Mistakes could be deadly. One of the instructors, Caroline Miles, a seasoned veteran, reminded them constantly, "You are not here to start fights. You are here to end them faster than anyone else can understand what happened. Your mind and your body are your only weapons." The recruits also learned negotiation tactics. They trained with actors simulating angry diplomats, violent protests, and even traitors in their own team. They had to protect principles while keeping the peace. Daniel remembered a drill where he carried an unconscious ambassador through a crowded hallway while avoiding attacks from armed trainees. It was exhausting, terrifying, and enlightening. After months of grueling training, the recruits began to understand the philosophy behind unarmed security. Weapons could escalate conflicts. Showing restraint and calm could de-escalate dangerous situations before violence began. The Academy's motto was simple: if you need a weapon in a meeting room, you have already failed. 2, 2, 2. Flash forward to the present on Ariel 9. The human team had applied everything they learned. Every move in the council chamber had been rehearsed 1,000 times in various forms. Every corner, every panel, every possible threat had been studied. The team's calmness, coordination, and precision were the product of years of preparation. Luke looked at Megan, who was checking the chamber's system access panels. "You handled the turrets perfectly," he said. She nodded. Years of drills paid off. Olivia and Jason were standing by the doors, relaxed now, but still alert. "It felt like slow motion," Jason said quietly. "We could see every move the attackers made before they even acted." Daniel helped a few delegates who had minor scratches and bruises. "It's strange," he said. "We are trained to handle anything, but seeing their faces, you realize how fragile peace is." Helen Ward entered, smiling softly. "They will never forget this day," she said. "The footage alone will teach them more than words ever could." The story then explained why humans choose to train this way. Centuries ago, early contact with alien species had gone badly. Armed guards had caused accidental deaths, sometimes sparking wars. Humans learned the hard way that reliance on weapons alone could make situations worse. Over time, the doctrine of unarmed diplomatic security emerged. It was difficult, dangerous, and required the best humans, but it worked. Olivia remembered the first day she entered the academy. But after months of training, she realized that control, awareness, and courage could do far more. She could defend, disarm, and protect without killing. She could think faster than anyone expected. Luke's team had become elite. Each member specialized in a role. Olivia was the strategist and quick responder. Jason was the shield for non-combatants. Megan handled systems and technology. Daniel was the medic and last line of defense. And Luke coordinated everything. Their teamwork made them unstoppable. As they reviewed the events of the Ariel 9 attack, the team silently appreciated how their training had saved lives. No weapons, no armor, just skill, courage, and discipline. Even alien delegates began to understand, slowly, why humans operated differently. Helens watched quietly. "The galaxy does not expect this," she said. "They assume weapons define power. But humans, we define power by control, precision, and willingness to risk ourselves for others." Luke nodded. "They will respect it after today. Some may fear it, but they will respect it. The galaxy needs to understand that human security is not about weapons. It is about training, courage, and teamwork." Outside the council chamber, whispers spread. "Did you see that? No weapons. And they stopped everything. Unarmed humans. Unbelievable. I thought it was impossible." Some feared humans. Some admired them. All were curious. As night fell on Ariel 9, the human team gathered in a small observation room. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the windows. Luke spoke softly. "We are not finished. The council will continue to test us, even if unknowingly. Our work is never over." Olivia looked at the distant stars. "It feels like the whole galaxy is watching." Jason shrugged. "They are, and they are learning." Megan smiled faintly. "Maybe one day, other species will try to train like us. But it will never be easy." Daniel leaned back. "We just need to keep doing our job. Protect, train, and stay ready. That is enough." Helen joined them, placing a hand on Luke's shoulder. "You all have done more than enough. Today, you taught the galaxy a lesson they will not forget. Not with guns, not with armor, but with skill, courage, and discipline." The room grew quiet. Outside, Ariel 9 spun slowly in the darkness. The events of the attack would be remembered forever. Humans had shown their true power. Not in weapons, not in numbers, but in training, teamwork, and courage. The council would have to rethink everything they assumed about security. Humans were not just ordinary guards. They were elite, unarmed, and capable of protecting life in ways no one else could. And the galaxy had just received its first real lesson in the human way. As the night deepened, Luke looked at his team. "Tomorrow, the council will meet again. We will be ready. Remember our training. Remember why we are unarmed. And remember, the galaxy is watching us, learning." Olivia, Jason, Megan, and Daniel nodded. They were ready. They had trained for this moment for years, and now the galaxy knew a small part of their secret. The story closed part 3 with a quiet, powerful thought. Humans did not need weapons. They had skill, training, and courage. And sometimes, that was stronger than anything else in the galaxy.